Hi and welcome to another video on UiPath with Jeppe. In this one we are looking at cloud robots and the serverless kind. Before we get started, please consider subscribing to my channel by clicking the red watermark in the lower right hand corner, and also click the thumbs up button if you like the video. At the end of this video I'll also be talking about the giveaway that's coming up, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But let's talk about serverless cloud robots. So what are they really? Well, in my home setup here, I have a virtual machine, and this is where I run my unattended robots. So when I'm developing something in Studio, I'll usually just publish it to my Orchestrator, and then I'll create a trigger, and then I can see that it runs fine here in my virtual PC. In this video, we're going to do things a little bit differently. We're going to start a new process, but this is a special kind of process because it's going to run on one of these serverless cloud robots. And what is a serverless cloud robot? Well, it's a machine that can execute your automations for you, but it's a machine that you don't have anything to do with. Typically, it's also not a Windows machine, so you will need to create a special kind of process. And let's try and do that now. So inside of Studio, we just start a new process. But what we need to do here, and I'll just call this one cross-platform process. What we need to remember to do is to select the cross-platform compatibility option down here. And then we just create the process as we would usually do. Now, when this process is fully loaded, we can see that it doesn't have all of the activities that we're used to, because most of the activities, or many of the activities that you've been using on Windows for years, we cannot use in the cross-platform world, because those controls and so on simply don't exist on other platforms. So we will see in our project, we'll see fewer dependencies, and they will also be cross-platform compatible, these dependencies. And that will simply limit the options that we have when building our automations. But we can still build plenty of useful automations. So let's open the main workflow. And what I'll do is I'll go into my activities, and I'll simply drag in a log message activity. And what I'll do is I'll just select the info log level, and what we are going to log is the system environment machine name. So this will log the name of the machine that is running the process. And I'll insert another log message. And while these activities aren't that exciting, they'll make perfectly good sense in just a few minutes. So we'll log also the system environment OS version. So that will log the operating system and version of that operating system. So we have a process, right? And we're just going to run it on the local machine that I'm developing it on. So we'll just run it. And what we can see happen in the output window is that it's going to log a couple of messages as we defined in our workflow. And we can see here that it logged the machine name and the Windows version. Now, let's say we want to run this on the other machine. What we can do is we could publish this to the other machine, and it's called the X platform process. We'll just click publish, and then we'll go to my Orchestrator as soon as it's done. It is done now. We'll go to Orchestrator. We have that here, and in my automations folder here I don't have any processes yet. So we can see, if we go to tenant and packages, we can see that the X platform process was published just a few seconds ago here. So we'll go back to the automations folder. We'll click processes, and we'll add another process. We'll select the cross-platform process package, and we'll click next, next, and create. Now in the processes tab, we have the cross-platform process, and we can run it. And once we do that and go to the jobs tab, we can see that we have a running job here, and that should complete in just a few seconds. And if we go and view the logs, we can see that it logged the homebot, which was a different machine name than when we ran it locally on the development machine. And also we can see that the Windows version is different. Here we're running on Windows NT 10 something, and on the homebot machine, if we switch back to Studio and find the output from just before, we could see that it ran on the Jeppe desk home machine and another version of Windows. So what does this have to do with a cloud robot that is serverless? Well, not much at all really, but why I built this automation with these two activities was that I will now run this automation on a serverless cloud robot. And how do you do that? Well, you go into Orchestrator again, and then on your tenant level, if you're running a community edition, because you cannot do this on the enterprise version right now, I believe. But on the community edition, if you go to the tenant level and go to machines, we can see here that we have the homebot and then the development machine. And in the community edition, you have the option of adding a new machine of type Cloud Robot Serverless, and that is a preview feature right now. So we'll do that. And we can see that it asks us for a name, and we'll just call it Cloud Robot Serverless. And that's it. We could also give it a description and add some labels or some tags, but we cannot change these options down here at the bottom, that it can run any type of process as long as that process is cross-platform compatible. So we'll just provision the machine. And now in our machines, here on the tenant level, we can see that now we have this Cloud Robot Serverless machine also. If we now go to our automations folder again, and what we'll do here actually is we will take the machine that we just ran before, and we're going to remove this machine. So we don't have any machines in this folder. What that means is, of course, if we go to the automations and try to run this process, we can't do it because we don't have any machines to run it on. So now we will add to the automations folder, we will add that serverless cloud robot. So manage machines in folder, and we will activate the Cloud Robot Serverless here and click update. And what that means now is if we run our process again, and we'll just click run because it has selected all of the right options, even up here in the runtime license, it's going to run it on the Cloud Serverless Preview license. So if I click start, and we go to the jobs page, it's pending, and now it's running, and in just a few seconds we'll see that it's done running. And that means if we view the logs, we can see that it ran on a machine with the machine name of 169, and it ran on a machine with an operating system that is not a Windows operating system. So this is a machine that is in the cloud, managed by UiPath, and we don't have anything to do with the machine. The machine is simply available for us to use as an executor of our automations. And that's really what Cloud Robot Serverless is all about, is you can run automations as long as they are cross-platform compatible on a machine that you don't know anything about. You simply add that machine in your tenant level in Orchestrator, and then you add that machine to the folder where you want the automation to be run from. And what's really funny, if we go back to the development machine here, is that we can remote debug against this serverless cloud robot. So if we go to the debug tab and enable one of my favorite new features, which is remote debugging, and we simply say that we want to run it on any available unattended robot and click save, we will insert a breakpoint here. And now we'll run the automation, and it'll pause, of course, at the breakpoint. And what we'll see is that we are actually still running on that serverless cloud robot. So right now we are remotely debugging on a machine that we, again, don't know anything about. We just know that this automation is being executed on a machine, and we can pause it and we can go to the immediate window, for example. And here we could ask for the same thing that we're going to ask for in the next activity, for example, the OS version. And we can see that it's going to return the Unix whatever version to us. So I'll stop the automation here. And that's really what Cloud Robots Serverless are all about. Now, there's a licensing model that comes along with this. I'm not completely familiar with the licensing model yet, so you'll either have to look that up yourself or we'll save that for another video. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And also, because I have that giveaway coming up in about a week or a week and a half maybe, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It really does help me a lot, so I hope you will do that. The giveaway is for a voucher for the Advanced Developer Certification, and it can be used only online, but anywhere in the world. So wherever you're watching from, again, make sure you subscribe and stay tuned, because that giveaway is coming up in, I believe, my next video, maybe the next one after that, but fairly soon. So thank you for watching. Stay safe. See you in the next one.